Hey, what's up, friends? Ray with Talking Timworks. How y'all doing? Boy, friends, I am excited for this one, man. We're going to turn some big cherry. You know, cherry is my favorite wood to turn, and I like going big. So this is a great video for this. I'm super excited about it. We are going to test the capabilities of the woodworm screw and see if it can turn this 55-pound blank. I just weighed it on the scale. It was 55.7 pounds. All right, there it is, friends. Look at that, 55.7 pounds for this cherry blank. Yep, it's a big one. All right, it's 20 inches by 6 inches. So y'all can see this. I am worried about this hole in here. I'm probably going to have to do an epoxy job on this, which I hate doing, but I don't think there's any way around it. I didn't notice this hole until there was a little bit of pithy area right here, and I shaved about an inch off once I had already angled these cuts. So it has to be done this way. So we've got a hole, and it's probably going to translate into the bottom of the bowl. That's unfortunate, but this is going to be fun, friends. It really is. All right, so stick around and see how we do this. All right, so it's going to be kind of a shallow bowl, but it's a large one, right? And it's not maxing out the capacity. I wanted to go a little bit bigger, but if you can see right here at this edge here, it's kind of punky. And this was the butt section of the tree, right? This is where the notch was cut and it fell over. Well, in that, there was a lot of fiber pull in this. I don't know if you guys know what fiber pull is, but when you fell a tree, you cut that notch, and there's a hinge right here. There's 2 inches of hinge wood where the tree pivots, and that controls the tree as it's falling. Okay, well, when it falls over like this, it tears out the fibers. And most tree trimming guys are not in it for lumber. They're not in it to preserve the wood. They're just in it to get it down safely. Okay, so you get a lot of fiber pull. If it was a logger or a timber cutter that was cutting this for veneer, cutting this for selling to customers, they usually take a lot of extra care to cut a smaller wedge, and will sometimes bore out the hinge so that there's less fiber pull when the tree goes over, preserving the lumber. Wasn't the case on this, but this is still a good sized bowl. There's really no market for bowls this big. This is more of a personal thing. You know, it's fun to turn things big. It's fun to have 1 or 2 of these pieces around as a showcase of what you can do and what you're capable of doing. So that's why I like stuff like this. And we are going to see if we can pull it off on a woodworm screw, right? We are going to test the capabilities of a woodworm screw. I'm not scared of this piece coming off and flying. The only thing that's going to happen is if it doesn't work as planned, it'll strip the threads out and it's not going to go anywhere. A piece this large, I'll probably be turning 600 to 700 RPMs at the fastest until we get it down into the round, smoothed out. And then even then I might, the highest setting on the low pulley for a one-way lathe is 800 RPMs. Okay, and I'm not, because I'll probably take a core out of this. There's no point in not taking a core out of this unless we do like a chip and salsa bowl. Would be kind of cool on a piece this large. So we'll figure that out when we get there, but I want to see if we can do this on a woodworm screw. And if we can't, like I said, if the screws strip out, then you simply mount a faceplate and rechuck it up and get back to turning, right? So let's do this. First things first, we start out, there's the center hole where I drew it with the compass, the dividers. We'll do a 3/8 hole. You know me, I just eyeball everything. I don't measure stuff. I'm not concerned with that. I will have to switch this down to the low pulley range. Oh, I gotta move that thing. Man, this thing is not light or easy to manhandle around. Yeah, boys, look at that thing. And I think we're already cooked. See, friends, it's free spinning. Ah, that's unfortunate. Well, it's probably for the best. Something of that size and magnitude we should treat with respect anyways. Yep, good there. So it's like tightening the lugs on your tires or tightening down a flange of any other type. You don't go in a circle like this. You go in opposing star patterns. So you don't mash down one side and then try to bring it back the other way. The biggest unfortunate thing about this is there's a bunch of holes in the blank now for making cores. There we go. All right. We'll put the smock on for a while. I'll be using my Robert Sorbet 3/4 inch bowl gouge. Okay, so it's platform ground to 40 degrees nose angle. See, it's kind of a U shape. Maybe it's parabolic elliptical. It's more of a U shape flute. Okay, but I still ground it that way, kind of a platform ground with a. I'm kind of slowly reworking it back into an asymmetrical like Tommy and Richard do. Okay, I'm too cheap to just grind this much of the nose off and then restart over. So what I'm doing is I'm sharpening the left wing full length back, and then just sharpening the front half of the right wing, so that it slowly comes back into line of being an asymmetric ground like they roll with, because you know they're like my two biggest influences. So, but this is big wood. We're going to use a big gouge. This gouge is one of the actual reasons why I started platform sharpening. Because look at this. Okay, Varigrind. We'll bring it all the way out. Doesn't fit, not even close. So this gouge right here kind of stayed my hand and made me learn how to platform sharpen. Which I think I'm better for it. I prefer it. All my gouges I platform sharpen now. I don't use those Varigrind jigs anymore. Yeah, let's see how this angle does. I'm going to wear my smock while I can. It's going to be hot today. It's going to be really hot. Face shield on. All right, let's see what it'll get with. Hopefully 300. That's about 450, and we're getting a bit of vibration, so let's try and get some of this cleaned up some. Oh. I still want to see what this hole's kind of looking like. Oh, full blown knot. Oh boy, this bowl's gonna have a rough time. of forces at play here. I'll go ahead and touch up. It's going to go a lot of wood. See if that helps some. Let's see what this knot over here is doing. Well, that sucks. That's where all that cracking and stuff is coming from. Ah, man, you never know what you find until you start cutting into big wood. Oh man. And then it came through right there. This is screwing me. Alright, so hopefully this tin is good. As you can see, there's a hollow in there, but we're not bottomed out. It's close. This is about the maximum size that this tenon could be. And I'm doing it because, you'll see here. Let me put you guys back up where you belong. This is problematic, but I've seen guys use tenons with less. So hopefully that will work. So now I'm just going to shape the bottom of this bowl a little bit better and then reverse it. See what we got going on. All right, let's get this thing reversed before anything else goes southish. Okay. Well, the faceplate does work and is secure, and one's broke off. Awesome. Two's broke off. So that's a bummer. There's two broken off screws in there. Those are not the screws to use. It is what it is. We will deal with that shortly. It broke off somewhat deep, so I could turn this off. And then I'll probably just do 2 cores, and then hopefully that will bypass the screws. This stupid tool rest is going to be in the way, isn't it? Something like that. Oh man, I wonder if that's that nail. We should be right there. Nope, just a little bit more. It's not worth bending the knife. Oh yeah, see man, we're right in there. Yeehaw! All right, let's roll with it. Getting some vibration or something. Double check the chuck. Was able to tighten it up a little bit. This is sopping wet cherry, so That'll work. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit since we're out at the rim. Man, you know, I would like just a little bit more. I like that better, I think. Yep, through the bottom, man. Yep, so we're gonna have to let this dry and epoxy it. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts, unfortunately. This thing's wanting to split all the way through. Is it savable? Look, there's the chuck jaws. Or do you just turn it now and then hope it lives? While it's got a serviceable tenon and while everything's still together. I mean, that's what we'll do. Take some more out of the walls. Yeah. We'll finish this bowl out. big old monster piece of cherry, man. This thing was a fun turn to do, I'll tell you that much. I had a compromised tenon, and it kind of cut me short on my turning and finishing it. So my idea is I'm going to leave it like this, let it dry, and then power sand and clean it up. It's got the basic shape I want, not the smoothest. Well, I mean, the cuts are smooth, but there is a little bit of tear out that I'll have to focus in here and there. But if you can see, my tenon was compromised and this was in here, and so it started getting a lot of movement and chatter while I was finishing this bowl. And I got two cool other cores out of it. The mini core inside had a nail broke off from the face turning plate, and I actually cut through it with my coring system, so the little mini core inside is pretty much worthless. But this is my biggest one to date, at almost 19 inches. It's like 18 3/4 diameter. Cherry, turn green, once. I hope it warps a little bit and looks pretty cool.